All the drinks on me. Don't go too far. Sitting by the bartender. Asked her.
What's going on? What's going on? It's your boy Connie, and we're here on 910 Sports. Once again, I want to thank God for this opportunity to be here with my brethren. You know what I'm saying? To have a special guest on here, to be able to have this great platform. First, I'm going to start from my right to my left, start with my big dog, you know, everything Georgia. And he even trying to claim Duke now. You know, he be on and off with Duke when they win or lose, depending on when he want to do it. My man Steve, what's going on, Steve? Can y'all hear me? Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
And then down to my bottom, my right hand man, the Batman to the Robin, the you know what I'm saying, the Pippen to the Jordan, however you want to look at it, the Magic to the Kareem, all that good stuff. My man Jacob, the great. What's going on, Doc?
Man, what's up, man? Glad to be on this side of the dirt. As I'm with you guys this morning, I celebrate my dad's birthday today. You know, he's no longer with us, but it's definitely a day of celebration, a day of gratitude, and a day of great thoughts and all the great memories and all the lessons that he taught me and my siblings, and just here blessed, man. Just glad to be in the number, man, and glad to be able to touch somebody like Coach Cummings, who worked with young athletes, who's a mentor, who's a father figure, who's a coach, and just who's a pillar of the community, man. So just glad to be here on the network once again.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. You know what I'm saying, and get this thing popping, and go from there.
All right, so this morning, guys, all the way from the DMV, Columbia, Maryland. Maryland Prep. The president, athletic director, coach, mentor. A pillar of the community. All that and then some all that the above. None other than Bruce Cummings, man. And he's with us still. Give us the schematics and give us the breakdown on what football prep is and what it means to athletes and how it prepares them mentally, educationally, physically, and emotionally to go to a Division One, a Division Two, or Division Three, or NIA. So welcome, Coach. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me on this inning.
No doubt. So, but before we get started to the whole backstory of about the prep, I just want to know, like a lot of people want to know out in radio land and podcast land, who is Coach Bruce Cummings?
Well, I am actually a high school teacher. I'm also a special education teacher. I started out coaching in the county for public schools. Probably been coaching about around 10 to 12 years. And I always noticed that we had athletes that were very talented, but didn't necessarily have nowhere to go after high school. Unfortunately, in Maryland, none of our community colleges have football programs. So, 2-3 years down the road, I see Johnny, got some girl pregnant, or, Johnny in jail, or something like that. So I used to send, my athletes to all different type of prep programs: Georgia Prep, East Coast Prep, Gyra Prep. So me and some coaches got together. We were like, man, why don't we just start our own prep, in Maryland, just to give these kids some avenues and some extra opportunities to display their skills. And that's what we did. We started Maryland Prep in 2019, and we're still going strong to this day.
Okay. Great. So we started Maryland Prep, man. Is that I know they have infield play just like they normally would, but is that in classroom, or is it online, or how did the whole curriculum work when you guys first got it started?
Great question. So our program, to get all the accredited credits from college, all of our students go to the local community colleges. The community college that's more adjacent to our program in Columbia is Howard Community College. And
Okay.
Howard Community College is, man, definitely one of the top five community colleges in the nation.
You're
So
right. You're
whatever,
right.
whatever college you attend or go to, or take classes, your credits will be transferable to other universities and institutions because of the prominence of higher community college. Now we do have our own curriculum. We work with 7 units in our curriculum, and we try to focus on organization and structure, goal setting, self regulation and mental health, self assessment. We introduce the kids to STEM because STEM is a new program, and a new fit job field where they have a lot of positions as well as you can make a lot of money. We also introduce them to financial literacy, and then finally we do SAT and ACT prep. All of our content is online. We use our Google Classrooms, and we have instructors come in and teach our kids once a week during the season on whatever curriculum outcome that we're looking at for that week.
Okay, okay, coach. Now, what's so interesting to me is I'm in the community heavy. I work with a lot of nonprofits, and I talk to a lot of parents, and I talk to a lot of coaches because I'm a JUCO college recruiter as well. So, and in the high schools now, in kind of like the major cities, they have adopted to it, but in the even in the smaller schools on the outskirts of the major cities, they haven't. So, when you talk about the STEM, the science, the technology, the economics, and the mathematics. So, with you talking about that STEM, how do you think STEM prepares students for society versus just the regular public school system? Because the STEM is the extensive program, is way different than what we came up learning.
hmm So with that, like I said, I'm also a high school special education teacher. So I definitely know what's going on in the schools and stuff like that. And a lot of time with the STEM program, it might be a course that they might introduce kids, but a lot of kids don't understand what STEM is, so they don't never take the classes, or they're not never get any in-depth training about the STEM program. So what we do is we work with teachers in that actual field, and we allow them to show the students that you can get all type of different jobs in this field, and this is a field that is very needed right now. So definitely, you take your courses and everything and go this direction. You'll definitely be guaranteed with a job, after you finish college. And um, also, we definitely a football program, but we just want to provide students with opportunities anywhere. We allow we work with the Army. Some of our students go to the Army and the Navy. We work with trade school programs. Some of our students go to trades. We do get some kids with some football scholarships, but that's just not the main emphasis of our program. It's just to get football scholarships. It's to provide opportunities so our students can win in life.
Okay, okay, and one last question, Steve. I'm turning it over to you. Um, as far as your students, working in the community and getting that leverage where their face is seen around the community. What are some nonprofits that you guys have partnered up with?
So it's a good question. We actually partner with the EOC program out of DC. It's basically a government grant program where we provide opportunities for students after high school to go to higher educations, whether that's college, trade schools, or like I said, the Army. or anything. So we work with that EOC program. We definitely willing to work with more programs. That's just to get the exposure out there, and get more players, recruits into our program. Um, but that's the program we work with, the EOC, which is a grant opportunity program, which allows us to, not only have some funds to go back into the program, but it allows us to get like teachers and different resources that we need to continue to run the program.
Okay. Appreciate that. Back to you, Steve.
Appreciate it, Coach. You said you and a couple of other coaches got together and decided to come up with the prep program. Is that correct? What
Yes.
made you guys choose the name and the certain in the colors? What went into building the program itself, basically from scratch?
Well, it's very interesting because actually we first started out with a developmental pro football league, but we realized that wasn't the route. That's why we went to the prep route. And this just with the colors and stuff like that. We didn't It's just something basically I just came up with. I didn't, think any, spectacular names. So just make it simple, Maryland Prep. I also not only got a degree in special education, but I also have a degree in fine arts and computer graphics. So
Okay,
I created the logo and everything, anything that's aesthetic for the program. So that's just it. It was just something, we just thought about, and got it approved by our board.
okay. What were some of the early challenges, Coach, when it comes to starting your own prep or starting your own school? We know funding, of course, is going to definitely be one of the major issues, funding and sponsorship. But what are some of the other issues or challenges you would say that you may have ran into that you never thought you would have to run into when you first started this?
Well, it's from my experience, just finding good people that has the same like mindedness as you. A lot of times, people may come aboard and, they might want to, have their own ideas or, want to go their own way, and not necessarily think about, the end game or the mission of what Maryland Prep was trying to do. So it's hard from my experience to feed out or filter out those type of people that want to work with the organization, and have the main interest of the organization within them. Um, Also, just working with other entities in the community, because we're a new program. A lot of people sometimes it's hesitant to work with you, but long as you what I found is just tell them what's our mission statement and what we're about. A lot of times, other organizations and programs would definitely like to help us because it's all about our student athletes. One of our models is "Together We Can," and I definitely believe that it takes a village to raise a kid. So along
Yes, sir.
of all our different programs in the communities, and you guys give me the platform to come on your podcast. These are all different resources, to help our student athletes, be successful in life.
Gotcha. And the prep school or the school itself, is it only for kids in the Maryland area, or have you guys been able to recruit outside of that?
Oh, it's for all over. Not this past year, but the year before that. I don't know if you guys remember Deshaun Stevenson. He used to play
Yes,
for
sir. Yep.
the Mavericks.
Yep.
His
Used
son
to go
playing
at
on
LeBron, I believe. He used to go at
our
LeBron hard.
his son playing on our team 2 years ago, and he's from
Okay.
California. He's a top quarterback, man. He can play. He did go to a top program, but he did go to a program and back in California and playing football there. And like I said, it's not always about going to that top D1 program.
Hmm.
It's just about experiences. A lot of these kids is the first time that they're away from their parents. So just giving them experiences. Also, that same year, we went down to Atlanta and we played Northeast Atlanta Prep.
Okay.
Great program down there. But what I noticed, we actually won that game. But what I noticed, that more than even the game, the kids were so excited about us visiting Martin Luther King Church,
Hmm.
his old house. So it's about experiences. A lot of our kids, might not even left the Baltimore area. So just doing those certain things like that, I think that broadens our students' minds and get them thinking on different perspectives and different levels. But we definitely have, players from California. I got players from New York. I had some from Florida. We definitely get, players all over the place. Still looking to get some more players from Georgia.
I got you. I'm gonna connect that pipeline for you. I got some high school coaches I'm working with on some things in the backside. So I definitely look for avenues where I can send kids. Like you said, a lot of kids, man, 90% of high school kids won't get to play at the next level. You know what I mean? 90% of those kids won't get to go on and continue playing in their career. So if I could always have another avenue where I can send a kid where they can further their career, I'm definitely all for that. Now, Coach, one last question for you. Then I'm gonna let Icon come in. You say you're a high school teacher, a special education teacher, man. I definitely appreciate that. Y'all teachers don't get enough appreciation. How do you feel like that helps you when it comes to the recruiting, or helps you when it comes to connecting to the kids when they get to you? That you were in high school, you were, teaching, and you know the kids more. You have more familiarity with the high school system. How does that help you?
Well, I think definitely think academically it helps our program. Because I know, I mean, it's kind of sad, but I know a lot of guidance counselor in high schools. A lot of them don't understand that when you have a student athlete, they need their NCAA GPA, not just their core GPA or their cumulative GPA. And a lot of parents, players, and guidance counselors don't understand that you have to calculate them 16 core classes to get your NCAA GPA, and then determine if you're eligible, to play college football, through the NCAA clearinghouse and stuff like that. So
Mm,
it's a lot of things,
okay.
that I know, on the school side that's really not tight, which allow us to have this program, to be able to help those students academically. Also, with being a special education teacher, I mean, as you know, you have to have a lot of patience,
Hmm.
and be able to build relationships. And that's very true with the type of players that we have at Maryland Prep. We do have some high achieving players that just probably might missed out on the recruiting process and just need a platform, for them to display their skills. But for the most part, we work with at-risk students, who might be in have prior, trouble with the law, or might be done with baby mama drama, and we welcome those type of kids because those are the kids that we want to help and support. That's what this program's for. So I believe being able to build relationships and being able to have patience, being able to work with these young men, definitely has helped me or assist me with Maryland Prep, and using my skills as a special education teacher.
Cool. Appreciate that, Coach. Icon, you good now, my boy?
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of funny. You kind of said it because kind of going to what I was going to ask. Basically, how important? Because you probably about the third or fourth program of your type that we've interviewed. How important does college football in general kind of like see the importance of what you're doing, or how accepting are they, or of trying program?
So I think the college programs is very in tune of what JUCOs and preps do. A lot of times people don't realize that a lot of these players that are NFL stars and stuff like that started in the prep or JUCO program. If you can play,
Mhm.
they're gonna find you. So I know it's a lot of coaches, Coach Damon Wilson at Morgan State, coaches at Bowie State, Howard. They definitely, reach out to us and connect with us, to see if we have some players, not be, going to their program. So I do believe that colleges, definitely look at, JUCOs and prep programs, because a lot of those guys, end up being ballers because they got a different type of hunger to them. What I
Hmm.
tell parents, a lot of times, if you take advantage of that prep year, once your child goes on to the 4 year institution, he kind of has a hands up because he's already used to playing to college caliber talent through the prep program. So once he gets there, even though he might be a red shirt freshman or a freshman on the field or something like that, he still has already experience playing against collegiate players. And I think that that's a advantage that we have with our programs. Instead of a player coming straight out of high school, straight to a college program, it's going to be a different type of learning adjustment, because that player is used to playing against high school players. Well, whether our players, they're used to playing against college players. So they already have that experience a little bit and helps them, once they get to that 4 year institution.
Now, how do you feel like your program kind of really helps a student? Like, because back in the day, a lot of times when kids would be when they would be struggling academically, or for whatever reason they wasn't getting recruited by the schools, it was kind of pretty much like it was over with. It was like, oh well, I'm out when I didn't go about going to school. I'm just gonna go ahead and work down here at McDonald's or find something else to do. So, how do you feel like because your program is like almost like a program where it gives that kid a second or third, fourth chance to be able to still, live out their dreams, or at least, play a Division 1, 2, 3 football, and then kind of work it from there. So how do you feel like your program helps a kid's morale and just confidence in being able to still strive for and go forward?
Yeah, so what I always tell, adults and parents, all we use is football is just a tool to help them get to the next place that they're going. That football, playing football, is that motivation that the students need to go to a higher institution or go to a college or something. So that's what we use football for. Once we grab you and you motivated, now here's all the opportunities. You got this opportunity. You can go to this trade. You can go to the army. You go to the navy. I know some firefighters and police officers. You might want to be a firefighter, police officers. Our program is just about setting up opportunities for our students to be successful. And that's not all the time. Going to a D1 program and being a top star and everything. Of course, we would want that, but not every. That's not the reality of everything. Sometimes like we just had a player and this past year, and I'm proud of him. Unfortunately, he had a baby, everything, but he's stepping up. He being a man and he taking care of his responsibilities. And I think if we didn't have Maryland Prep, he wouldn't have the mindset to be able to do that, with this young lady. So not only do we provide opportunities, we provide mentoring, how to problem solve. Of course, in football, we always got some little scuffles and stuff like that. But those are teaching moments and learning moments that we can use not only on the football field, but we can actually correlate that to real life. Because a lot of these youngins don't understand that you're not just going to the principal office and you fight. Like you going to jail.
Yep.
So we use all those opportunities, in practice and stuff like that, to provide learning opportunities to help them, be successful socially, in life, but at the same time provide opportunities for them so they can be able to, get good jobs and be productive citizens.
All right, go ahead, Jacob.
So, so coach, with your program, you know, as far as them going to one of the top five, community colleges in the city, do you guys have guidance on what you are telling them they should major in, or what's going to be a demanding for years to come. Because a lot of kids don't know what to major in. They just
Yeah.
know that they're going to go to college, but they don't know what they want to major in or what piques their interest inside of being a career professional. So, do you guys have that type of guidance as mentorship as well?
Yes, definitely. Because I use myself as an example. Like I said, I originally went to Bowie State University, HBCU in Bowie, Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when I went there, I was the same way. I didn't know like what was I good at. I didn't know the job field and everything. So I decided, just to get my degree in computer graphics because I knew I can draw. But the unfortunate thing like that when I graduated, we was in kind of like a recession. So when I graduated, it was basically no marketing jobs for no big companies or anything. So I basically had a degree but no job. So I had to go back to school, and that's when I went back to school to become a special education teacher. So I use that, example of my life, to let these guys know that you gotta not only go into a field that you're not gonna have a job after you graduate, but also you got to do something that you really like to do. And oftentimes we just encourage the students to just to do general studies. Just do general studies, your regular, English, math, and stuff like that. You can um, put off that major decision, for at least 2 years, and then hopefully in 2 years you figure out, what type of major you want to get in. But primarily it's about finding a major that you're going to get a job in or in an industry, after high school. And that's why another reason why we introduced the STEM program, because it's a lot of jobs in the STEM program,
Mm-hmm.
but nobody knows about it. When I was in high school, nobody taught me nothing about STEM. Like I have nothing, but it's a lot of jobs in that area, and they pay very well in that area.
Yep.
I was talking to a young lady out of New Orleans. I actually interviewed on my other platform, and she's a, a superintendent of a water company, and
Mhm.
um, and she told me that if our young black people knew how many high end paying jobs it was in working with waterworks and
Yeah,
just testing the water, she say she talking about jobs that pay starting out that pay like $92,000 a year, and
yeah.
some of the jobs go up to $200,000-300,000 a year, and so it's very important, and I think that STEM program it's kind of it's more of an environmental type program, but it's educational.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
So you have the science, the technology, the economics, and the mathematics. And so anytime you're dealing with testing anything, you're definitely dealing with science.
Yep.
You're definitely dealing with biology. So the STEM program is good. Now, how long do they have to stay with Maryland Prep once they come with you guys? Is that like a 2 year program, or how does that work?
So because Maryland Community College does not have a JUCO program, we do act as a JUCO as well as a prep.
Okay.
Ideally, we want the students to be able to take advantage of the prep rule, and that's the NCAA rule where a player can play for a football program right after high school,
Hmm.
and take up to I believe 6 college credits. You can't go full time, and you won't lose a year eligibility. So
Okay.
the students that has a high NCAA GPA, and the 3.0s and stuff like that, you can come to our program, go to ACC, but don't go full time. And then after that 6 months, we looking, to find you a 4-year institution for you to play, and you won't lose a year eligibility. Now, some other players, that might, we work with some players, might have a 1.8 GPA or something like that. Um, Therefore, they can't get into a 4-year institution at all, so they have to
Mm-hmm.
go to the JUCO track. If you go to JUCO track, you're responsible for earning 24 college credits and maintaining a 2.5 GPA if you want to transfer to a D1 program. And usually that takes at least 2 semesters because you take full time. There's 12 credits in the fall, 12 credits in the spring, which should give you your 24. But a lot of times, players they might spread that out amongst 2 years, and then they'll play for us for 2 years, and then once they satisfied with that academic requirement, then we'll be able to promote them to different higher institutions to play football there.
Right, coach. And I think that's kind of better for players to spread out their 2 years, or to at least have their degree in their associate in 18
Right.
point 5 months. And I think that gives them more leverage and help them grow as athletically, as a student, and as an individual. Because if you're playing at JUCO and they got this many students, but you got 10,000 new students coming every semester at the school you transfer to, you got to be prepared.
Yep.
You know,
Yeah.
but you ain't got mom and dad holding your hand. So, so,
And
so
and,
you know,
and, and with the JUCO programs, it takes a year of your eligibility too, or 2 years of your eligibility. So JUCOs is definitely for some players, but I believe prep programs are a little bit more beneficial because if you had the academics, you can escape from losing that year, but I
mhm.
also, like I said, at the same time get that experience playing against another college, athletes.
Right. And I do believe that you know, prep programs, especially for kids that got 3.0, 3.7 grade average. In 6 months, they can be going to Division One, Division Two, Division Three. But with JUCO helps you build your grades back up,
Hmm.
while you're playing football, so you can transfer to the Division One, Division Two, Division Three, or in NIE. So you know, both of them works out pretty good, especially when it comes to using sports as a ministry to help get kids off the street and to
Right.
give kids a chance that they thought they wouldn't have a chance at anymore. So both of them are great in that sense.
Hmm. Definitely agree with that.
Back to you, Steve.
Coach, are you on the coaching staff yourself?
Yes, yes. This past year since we started, I was always the defensive coordinator. But
Okay.
this year, I'm going to hop to the offensive side. I think I got some great coaches on the defensive side of the ball that's going to take over. And while I take over the offensive side of the ball, it's been a struggle on the offensive side of the ball these past 2 seasons. So we're gonna see if we can clean that up a little bit.
All right, coach. Talk about your background with playing, coach yourself. What position did you play? I know you said you went to an HBCU, man. Me myself, a HBCU alum, man. Shout out to the HBCUs, Albany State.
Yeah, so I actually played at Appleton as well as Bowie State. I played linebacker. Fortunately, I didn't finish my college career. Actually, I ripped my hamstring off the
Oh man,
bone.
oof.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I tried to be Superman and come back before I was supposed to, and then mess my leg up even more. um, so my career was over, playing wise, but I thank God because I always had a mindset, even when I was younger, just to be a coach for some reason. I love playing the game and everything, but I just had something in me, that always wanted to be a coach. Um, so I always tell other players that might not stop playing football or make injury. This is a great way to stay around the game, and be able to mentor kids. By being a coach.
Hmm.
Because you basically live through them, through your players, and playing like that. Um, but that's my experience,
Okay.
playing.
So, coach, you say you was that linebacker. Give me your top four linebackers all time. Your Mount Rushmore linebackers. Like if you had to
Mm,
choose these four on Sunday, these are your four you gonna roll with.
that's a great question. So my first player, and my family might disown me, because
Uh-oh.
I'm a I'm originally from Pittsburgh, so I'm definitely a Steeler fan. But I believe the my favorite linebacker is definitely Ray Lewis. Man, Ray Lewis can definitely ball out. So I'll say Ray Lewis. Um, then let me go with Mike Singletary, um, LT, um, and then
You got one more, coach. You got one more
uh,
spot. Who you getting it to?
I got to give it to one of my Steeler guys. So let me go with Jason Gilden or Kevin Green, one of them guys.
Ooh, okay. So you say you're a Steelers fan, coach?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, okay. All right, Cowboy fan down there. How you feel about that?
Um, uh, he a Steelers fan, so I know I know some Steelers fans, and I know this guy personally used to play for the Steelers. I was surprised he didn't pick Ed McDaniel.
Mm.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Icon, he did give Miami a shout out. He put Ray Lewis on the list. I see
Oh
you up
yeah,
there smiling.
you got to put Ray Ray. You got to put Ray Ray on there. You know what I'm saying? Ray Ray is one of the goats.
Go
But
ahead, Icon.
yeah, but anyway,
I
coach.
don't, I don't know if I call him a goat, but he that dude.
He wanted to go. I said one of the goals. I ain't said he
You
was
know,
the goal. I said one
when
of
you
the goals.
talk about people like LT and Singletary and Derek
You got to
Thomas
put Ray in there. You
and
stop
people like
it. You
that, I
got to
don't
put
know,
Ray
bro.
in there.
I don't
You
know,
got
man.
to. You got to.
I just think the old school linebackers had more grit than them. That's all.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
I just
Well,
think they hit
Ray
more power.
could have played in any era. Ray could have played in any era. Come
And
on.
I'm not saying he couldn't have, but that style of play with the older school linebackers like Singletary and Derek Thomas and Lawrence Taylor and people like Harry Carson and people like that. I just like they grit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
That's
mean, I
all.
get you, but I mean, but Ray was a victim. He was more of a victim of the
He
era he
had
played
victims.
in
You
because
used the right word then. Now he had some victims.
shut
You
up, man.
used.
Stop it, stop it. See, there you go.
Coach, you see
Don't,
how I
don't
get
let
them
nobody
going,
stop
Coach.
it.
Coach, you see
Yeah,
how
we
we
in
going in
Atlanta.
the morning.
Don't let
You
nobody
messy.
stop it.
That's how I get them going, Coach. That's how I get them going in the morning. Go
You
ahead.
messy. You messy. You messy. You know what I'm saying? Now I was just saying he a victim of the era he played in because he had to play by the rules more or less. He couldn't, you know what I'm saying? He couldn't be who
Yeah.
he probably really wanted to be if he played in the era with Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
Because you know Ray Lewis wanted to knock your head off, but then they changed the rules so much. You know he couldn't knock your head off like he wanted to.
Probably
You know
throw you
what
through a window if he could.
I'm saying?
Hey
Anyway, I
man.
can't with
Hey,
you, man.
hey,
It's too early in the morning.
man. Hey, Steve, I ain't gonna tell no story. I heard a comedian say this, right? They was like, he was like, I'm a big boy, man. He said, so Ray might be in the club, be like, what's up, big man? He said, I might look at him and say, what's up, killer?
Yeah, I heard that before. But anyway, Coach. So what's your biggest success story? Like a kid that came to your program that looked kind of dismal, looked dark for them, and then they ended up, coming out on the other side looking, and he's one of them students that your program really worked.
Well, yeah, we definitely had a lot of success stories. But I say probably the main one that stuck out to me is one this past year. Um, he actually played with us these past 2 years, but he had unfortunately got a young lady pregnant before last season. So he told me about it and everything. So right then and there, we sat him down like, all right, man, you got about to have a play. Be what's your plan?
Mhm.
So we sat down, we figured out a plan, Of course, he couldn't, go on to college, and do that, because he had to provide for his baby. But we basically came up with a plan. He still played with us this past season. He just had the baby, I believe, in like February or something like that. He sent me the picture of the baby.
Hmm.
But he has a nice construction job, and everything. So, like I said, it's not always about, getting them to college and stuff about that. It's just helping them or supporting them, so they can win in life. And I believe that's a young man that, we definitely can feel good about, that we set him up with the opportunity, to be able to provide for, his girl and his baby, and did it the mature way. I think if he didn't have some of the coaches in his life, he might have did, went off left and did something the wrong way, and now he got the baby mama drama and all that stuff. Because we definitely got players that dealt with that, too, as well, in the past. But I'm definitely, proud of him, about him stepping up and taking responsibility, of his, actions and what he did, But he has a good job, and he's taking care of his family, and that's all we can ask for.
That's all right. That's all right.
All right. Now,
Okay.
I guess I don't know if you want to call them clients or students, whatever you want to go. How many students do you have under your program?
So, right now we still in the recruiting process, but we look to have 50 student athletes every year, 50 players, and hopefully in the future we could branch out, get more. But right now, 50 players on our roster. And like I said, we provide all those resources and programming. And, hopefully, they all go on and be successful. The one thing I can account for is, since we started, we definitely have 100% rate of students going on to finish community college or
Oh,
go to
that's
a
dope.
trade school, or go to the army or something. We definitely provided those opportunities for people. Like I said, we did have some kids get some scholarships. We got some kids go to Willing University. Um, we had some go to the uh, Miss Kearney. I might be saying it wrong. Miss Cordia or whatever. We had Arkansas Baptist Prep. Yeah, quite a few different D2 programs and NAIA programs come out. And I always tell the players, it's not about always going D1. If your main goal is to get a college education, man, you can go to any school as long as they plan for it.
Hmm.
My motto is don't let football use you. You use football. You
That's
know,
right.
a, a lot of times, players, they play football, they all broken up and banged up and stuff. But all right, dog, I mean, what do you have to show for that?
Yeah.
And if you don't have nothing to show for that, you just basically got used by football. So use your ability and your talents to get your education. And then that's going to an NAIA school that's going to pay for all your education. Hey, take it. If you're not looking to go to the NFL or anything like that, just use that football opportunity to get your education.
But it's funny you say that, Coach. I got a call from one Coach Coates from down in Charleston, South Carolina, and he just was telling me about one of the young men I was asking about bringing on the platform. He told me that he just signed with the XFL with the team out in Arizona, and he thought after college, he was working and stuff like that. He thought football was over, and you know he sent some film in and whatnot, and they told him to come on out for a trial, and they signed him. You know what I mean? They put him on the team. So so it really ain't never over because you got so many leagues that you didn't
Mhm.
have when it comes
Right.
to still playing professional football. Not just the NFL, man. You got USFL, the XFL. You got the Canadian League, man. You got Man, you even got leagues over in like Turkey and Italy, pro football
Arena
league.
arena
Yep.
football. Yeah.
Arena
Yeah.
football, you're right. So you got every opportunity to still play if you love the game. But like you said, most important, man, you know, degree. That degree is something that's going to help them for a lifetime. You know,
Right.
even when your knees hurt when the weather start getting cold, that
Mhm.
degree is still going to
Yep.
help you for a lifetime, man. You know what I mean?
Or just a
Yep.
trade, or just a trade in general. Like you said, they got the guy in
Right,
construction. You know what I mean? Some of
Yeah.
these guys, a lot of trade schools, they save a lot of people's lives. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Those trade schools. So,
right,
and a lot of them pay good money. Plumbing,
Mm-hmm.
construction. Some of them
Why?
jobs pay real good money. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
right,
While you doing the trade, they'll pay you.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
right, right, right,
Yeah.
right. And then why I said them eights, man, because a lot of football players don't be old, man. I be hearing these young boys that that play 4 years of college and try to go pro, but they ain't make it, man. But I be hearing them like 27, 28, 29 years old, man. Be talking about how bad they body be hurting, man. And
Yeah.
football dangerous, man. That thing can have your body tore up, man, like tore up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man.
And then it seems like once you get older, like when you 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, you don't feel it. But once you get late 20s and hit that 30-year-old mark, oh yeah, you start feeling a little bit more.
Yep. You
Icon
start
just
feeling.
hit that 30 mark. Icon, tell us about it.
Yeah, whatever. I'm on past the 30 mark. Shoot, we're talking about the 30 mark. That's the long gone. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Whatever. Hey.
But that did bring up another point because you guys did ask me another thing that was difficult with starting the program, and
Mhm.
another thing that's very difficult, and I think once again this is where we just got to come in as a community and be able to support. But a lot of players with single moms, I found that
Mhm.
it become a issue because the single mom wants the player to work to provide to the house, which is understandable. But at the same time, they don't allow them the opportunity to play football and go to school.
Mhm.
So it's like a conflict right there, and a lot of times, or I do tell the parent, that we have to set the student up for a career,
Mhm.
not just a job.
Mhm.
Last year we had Amazon come up is in Baltimore now, so a lot of our kids are working at Amazon and stuff,
Mhm.
which is cool and everything. And he was happy. Yeah, I work at Amazon, but then I asked him, "Are you planning on staying at Amazon the rest of your life?"
Exactly.
Mhm.
No, coach. So what's your plan, son? After you finish Amazon, what you gonna do?
Most
Uh,
young people don't have one, coach. They really
they
don't,
don't
man.
they don't know at all. So I tell them, all right, this is a scenario that might happen, or I seen this happen before. You working at Amazon, and then all of a sudden you get a young lady pregnant and
Yep.
everything.
Find a
now
shortage.
now you got a young lady pregnant, but then you got not a career, but just a hourly paid job. How you gonna work on that? I
Yep.
don't know, coach. Now you got baby mama drama with the baby mama because you don't have the funds you have and financial stability. So now, man, now you a statistic now, and now you struggling to pay for this child because what you didn't make right decisions in creating a career. You hustling backwards, man. You got to be able to get that career first, and then that wife and child.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So those are things that we talk about, but I found a lot of time it's difficult, especially with single parent homes, because it's understandable, especially in this climate. They need the financial stability, and you want the child to help, but at the same time, you got to be able to set him up to have a career, so he can take care of you in the future. And I think a lot of times, single parent moms, they don't think about that.
And coach, you had brought up a great point because Even when it comes to families, a lot of grandparents be at odds with that single mother, especially the grandfather. They feel like you depriving this young man of being a young man if he want to play sports and see what
Mm-hmm.
he good at. He can't do that because he busting burgers down at McDonald's or at Arby's somewhere, man.
Yep.
And like, just because this happened to you don't mean that he should have to face your music. That's a
Right.
decision that you made as a parent. And so the harsh reality is when a father or mother tell their child that about their child, the harsh reality, it it starts odds between the family, and then the kids come to you as a coach and want to know how they can get through this mentally and emotionally. So how do y'all
Mhm.
deal with that as well?
Yes, man. That happens almost every year, man. like coach, I'm having this is I hear this every year. Hey coach, I'm having family problems. All right, cool. Everybody has family problems.
Hmm.
You can't allow your family problems to get in the way with your education and your career and stuff like that. Because even if you get that D1 scholarship and you plan for University of Maryland, Michigan or whatever, you still gonna have family problems.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yeah.
thing is, we gotta get our kids out of that, as always having an excuse. I lie to you, Dot, man. I hear that every single year from
I
multiple
believe it.
players, and they always feel that that's like a good scapegoat. Oh, coach, I can't come to practice because I'm having family problems. Now if there's some emergency, definitely we take that into consideration. But you can't allow work to affect home, and you can't allow home to affect
Mhm.
work. And that's just, once again, that's just a life skill, that we teach these young men, coming to this program. Everybody has family problems. You got to learn how to be able to deal with those family problems, but at the same time, go out and get what you need so you can be successful. So that happens a lot, man. With mentor these kids and family issues and problems.
Well,
Okay.
we appreciate you coming on this morning, Coach, and giving us your time. It's early on a Sunday morning, so a lot of people like to sleep in today. So we whatever be in church already. So we definitely want to thank you for coming on this morning. Tell
Yes,
everybody
yes, yes.
where they can follow you, and where they can get contact you and to try to see about the program.
Yes, you could definitely Google Maryland Prep Football, and we'll pop up. Our website will pop up. You also can find us on Facebook. I believe it's Maryland underscore football. We're also on Twitter, Maryland underscore football underscore prep. And then we also have an Instagram. I believe that's just at Maryland Prep. So if you want to find any of our upcoming events or anything like that, or any information about Maryland Prep, you can definitely reach out to those resources. If you want to email us, you can email us at marylandprepfootball@gmail.com, or you can give us a phone call, and we'll return your call as shortly as possible. And I just want to thank you guys for having Maryland Prep on the show. And
Hmm.
once again, appreciate you guys.
No
Yes,
No
sir.
problem.
problem. No problem.
Anytime, Coach. Anytime. So everybody have a blessed day. I want to thank everybody who commented. I'd like to give a shout out Chewy. I hope I'm saying it right. What I'm saying, being on here. I don't know if that's one of your guys, Coach. But
No, not for
okay,
me.
yeah. So a
One
guy
of
named
Jacob people, Jacob know everybody in the world.
yeah, this guy Chewy. So
Hey
yeah,
man, it's all about the network, building the network. That's all.
Yes, sir.
that joker know people in Mars. People. People in Mars, and he probably the only person that know that the aliens is real.
They already done talked to Jacob.
Hey, man, you can't be no scary person, man. You got to open your mouth, dog. I'm gonna be seen and be heard at all costs.
There it is.
All right, y'all, man. Y'all have a
All right,
blessed.
man.
Oh, it's a
Peace,
woman.
man.
Okay, she a woman. So I apologize that.
I
I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right.
Lord, have mercy.
Yeah. So yeah, but I want to apologize for that. But
She,
yeah.
she,
But
she,
thank
she
you for
told
coming
you
on this
quit.
one.
Yeah.
I know, right? It's really time to go. See y'all next week.
All right,
I
man.
walked in the place, sat by the drinks on me. Don't go too far. Sitting by